Hello, everyone. Thank you for stopping by, for allowing me this time to share with you. I really appreciate um, the time that you spend here, your views, your likes, your subscribes. I do appreciate those. Um, I've just been tapping into the Lionsgate energy, right? We all see that, or you may have heard of that as being the abundance gate. The Abundance Gate, Lion's Gate, the 8-8 portal, right? This is a time when we have extra support and expansion, right? So I'm speaking of those things internal, the expansion of that light, of our heart chakra, of our the higher vibratory um levels of, you know, thinking, feeling, acting, speaking, these things. And it is a time when we can really expand upon our intuition. All right. So we have a lot of support in that area. And as we know, manifestation begins within, right? Um, And one of the keys to being able to navigate the energies is being able to follow our intuition. So let's say we were on level one, right? We're going to have an intuition that helps us navigate level one. And then there will come a time when we are asked to lean on or trust in and expand our experience within our intuition so that we can move into level two. That would be level one's challenge, the big guy, the boss at the end of a game, whichever you want to call it. Graduating from first grade to second grade type of thing. Graduating high school, going into college, receiving promotion, right? There's always some sort of higher knowledge or understanding, experience that we are willing to show, right? Or asked to show. And in this reading, we have someone who has a lot of courage, a lot of bravery, who walks in integrity and honor, um, who has tamed the beast of level one and two and three. Okay. And in this Lionsgate, when we come in and we have this assistance in expanding our intuition, there comes times when a block really is not a block. It really is not the block we think it is. But the only way we will know that is by listening to our intuition. Because no one is going to come and say or show evidence that this battle is over. And at the same time, I feel like, there was an injustice done. Maybe there was a challenge to our power, our authority, our wisdom, our experience, our knowledge. Maybe there was a challenge that came in that said, you are not who you think you are. You're not who you say you are. And now you're going to have to prove it because I'm going to challenge you to this great duel, right? Like something in our spirit said, wait a minute, I need to stop and correct this, whatever this is. And we see in that stopping, we see the unfairness, right? We see that challenge. That challenge could come through, um, lies, deceit, manipulation, these sorts of things that take place. And it's kind of like a rabbit hole because our intuition led us there. Our intuition told us there was a need to stop, to pause, to look, to observe, right? And so we did. But there came a time where we chose to, okay, now instead of becoming the observer, I need to know how this is going to turn out. I need to know what is the end of this, right? It's like someone who is waiting for someone else's karma to come along before they move on. The intuition led us to that point that we saw the injustice, we observed, but then somehow energetically we become a active participant in that search for justice now. All while in the background, in the unseen, on the other side of the veil, spirit is waiting. And now it's like they're stepping in and saying, what are you fighting for? Are you willing to die on this hill waiting to see karma, waiting for justice, waiting for evidence? I hear, know thyself. You heard the call to pause, to observe. That's all. To sit with those feelings, knowing, seeing what we had not seen before, feeling the injustice, perhaps even the anger or the rage or the need for some sort of restitution or karma to be served or justice, something, some kind of evidence. Some kind of evidence that says, wait a minute, this person is courageous. This person is brave. They are knowledgeable. They are wise. Their light is true. Right? And sometimes all we are meant to do is observe, allow the feelings to go through us, right? To release them and move on. Move on. to decide whether or not we are willing to stand and fight on this hill to the death of our dream, the death of our goal. And sometimes these challenges come just to do that, in hopes that we will cling to that hillside, screaming at the image in the mirror that all we needed to do was observe and say goodbye to. Karma doesn't always come, justice doesn't always come in the form that we think it does, or that we think it should. I got a message. Oh, God. Let me go back. I got a message about a week or more ago. Okay. And well, it was definitely more than a week ago. It was a couple of weeks ago where Spirit was really dealing with me and some of the things that go on in the world today. um, and just how dark it can get, you know, in those times. And sometimes we feel an injustice that runs so deep that our soul, it's like our soul cries for justice. Our soul cries, right? That it will be brought into the light, that it will be seen, that something will be done. I kind of do that when I think about, crimes against children, you know? And it was in one of those moments where I was given a little bit of a glimpse. And to be given a little bit of a glimpse, I also have to feel that I'm having a glimpse of, right? As an empath. And that can be quite an emotional experience. Sometimes we long to see, what is this justice going to look like? What is this karma going to bring? We need to know that everything we fought for was worth it. We need to see evidence of it. And in my life, there have been times where it seemed like there would never be justice, because justice and karma, or whatever you want to call it, took 20 years to come through. It took 33 years and for one of the most heinous acts to be corrected and brought through. And it brought about these questions of, how is that fair? Right? They get another 33 years of life. Meanwhile, destruction lay behind and all around them. The wounded laying with them, barren. How did that seem fair? Where was the justice in that for 33 years? And so it was during one of these little conversations with Spirit where Spirit showed me It kind of goes along with the saying, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. The higher they climb, the farther they drop. And this time, Spirit says, you know what? Some are losing their life and everything in it. Their homes, their jobs, their cars, their family, their friends, their followers. Some are so separated from the light that they've lost whatever angelic protection they had, because that protection cannot go into that density. It did without that density becoming light, and it doesn't want to become light. So some are bound to repeat this life. Some are bound to repeat the very lessons that they brought others. And when I felt this, the feeling, the emotions that came up were similar to some of the deepest sorrow I've ever known, like losing a child. And I thought, my God, this is the pain they caused, and this is the pain they will feel. Am I to hang around on this hill, waiting and fighting for justice and evidence and karma to come around and develop in such a form that it could cause someone so dark to feel a sorrow that deep? It could take ages. It could take ages. But just like I have followed my intuition into those moments where I have taken those pauses, right? I have sat and observed, and I have allowed myself to transmute and transcend the emotions and the feelings and the thoughts that flood forward, and to find that inner peace within myself, just like I followed my intuition into that space. I am also called to follow my intuition out of that space. And that intuition says, justice is coming. The wheel has turned. The tables have turned. The wheel of fortune has turned in your favor. It is divine timing. And it all requires the answer to one question. What are you fighting for? Are you willing to stand on that hill, fighting, hoping, waiting until all your dreams have passed, until the vision has been lost, until the goals have been forgotten? It's like a don't fall for the trap moment. That's what it was designed to do. Nothing more, nothing less. Just to captivate you long enough, to hold you in that place long enough that you would forget your dream. Truly. Because what I'm picking up on in this reading is an energy that is sick to their stomach. Their stomach is in knots and having migraines and fevers and just bedbound. Someone who is literally losing their grip, has been losing their grip. Someone that perhaps caused pain or suffering to us, our ancestors, our siblings, our family, our children. It hit close. It hit close at home. And now this person is sick. But it's just the beginning. And they're clinging on. They're clinging on to that way of life and living, that breath, which is stale and stagnant and sour and filled with lies and deceit and manipulation. They're clinging on to the resentment, to the guilt, to the shame. And Spirit's asking us not to cling on to it with them by waiting to see what will be. Because there is so much more ahead. For this one that I'm looking at, who has a courageous fighting spirit. They go for what is right. They go for what is true. They go for it with passion. And they're protected. The angels are here. They have stepped in. Whatever blockage, whatever energy was being cast, whatever ill will and wrong deeds were going on, have been blocked. Not only do they lost their protection, but they've lost their power, the power of the light within them. And some things are just not worth waiting around to see. It's just not. Because this fighting spirit is being guided away from that. It's like being told, you're here, you're ready to graduate. And before we graduate you, we want you to do a review of K through 12. And we want you to see some of the things you have overcome that you did not see. And then you get a picture of little Mary Jane in the background stealing your snack out of your lunchbox for 3 years. That you didn't know it was her, you know? Or maybe you get a sneak peek of the person who stole the answers off of the final and made a better grade than you did. I mean, could come in any way, shape, or form, but it triggers that moment where it's like, oh, heck no, I don't want to graduate. I want to go back to see little Miss Mary Jane. And that thief that was looking over my shoulder for all the answers all that time, yeah, let me go sit in that chair again. And Spirit says, okay, but you've already been there and you've already done that. And this is the time for justice, and reward is yours, favor is yours. You're being told this is a job well done. You have graduated. You overcame, little Mary Jane. And the thief may have gotten the answers in a better grade once, but you nailed this step by step by step. You nailed it. You held your center. You tamed the beast. You overcame the fear of not being good enough, of not having enough, of not knowing enough. Right? You faced the wild winds, the dark nights of the soul. You overcame. You rose above. You created love where love did not exist. Don't get caught in the little snippets that are played back from the past. Observe it, feel it, let it go. Because what is waiting ahead as this wheel turns? Huh, this is beautiful. This is a fresh chapter filled with love, romance, and delightful warmth. It is a time of celebration. It is a time when you have gained your wing and are given the opportunity to soar, to expand that intuition, to deepen it, to level up. This challenge, conquering this challenge, right, has brought us to a level up. It's just some, I feel, have gotten caught in the energy of wanting to see justice, karma, and Spirit is saying, what do you want to hang out with that for? Why you want to wait around for that? Your intuition's taken you to a whole new level. This is child's play. And it's not to demean or undercut or disempower or diminish the pain and the suffering that was overcome or the injustice of it all. But it's to say, if you really want to see, let go of the hill. Focus on your spiritual path. Allow this Lionsgate to expand you, and you will see the abundance all around you expanding. You're protected. The boogeyman from the past is not going to be able to come where you are going. He's too low vibrational. The only way to go where you're going is to raise your vibration. So if you meet them there, you'll know they raised their vibration. It's the only way to get there, is to go through that expansion, that rebirth, that growth. Truly, fortune favors you, and there is something special heading your way, but you will have to wait until it arrives to discover what it is. A true surprise from the universe, one that closes out a cycle that heals these wounds of anxiety and fear, of inadequacy, right? Those fears of failure. Could it be that waiting around to see justice is just a distraction from taking that next bold step? That it is actually in taking this next bold step that we overcome those fears of inadequacy and leave all of this behind in the dust, knowing that all will be returned equally, meaning we reap what we sow, right? And we reap to the degree that we have sown. We know this. We see it all the time. There's just, some people that don't get it. But we don't need to hang out and watch and wait for everyone to get it. I have the Tarot of the Orishas here, and it's a little new to me, so I kind of look in the book still because it's very different. But we have here the Ace of Fire. It's a push, and it says push and undertake some job or enterprise, characteristics of a leader able to undertake any activity. And although you delegate the toughest work to others, you supervise and monitor good performance. Someone who's charismatic, someone who will not be unnoticed. It says your impulse may be great, but you know when to take a break in time. There will be no dullness or sadness because of your personal touch. Your efforts will be noticed, but you will also have to make an effort, since to obtain results, it is necessary to have the power of decision. And then the Three of Fire says income obtained as a result of cooperation and great effort, power, nobility, and fortune. Influential people will cooperate or associate with you. Freedom and autonomy in any taking. And for the torches, represent the power of your free will and the strength of your spirit. It's in taking this action. Someone has had some big goals over here. I mean, we also have the high priestess. You know, a novice can't ride that chariot. It takes someone who has that inner balance, who has the inner knowing, the faith, the courage. There are no reins on the chariot, right? We have to trust our wings. We have to follow our intuition. And in many times, we are silent. We are moving in silence, planning, trusting what we see beyond the veil, right? Beyond the illusions, beyond the projection. And Spirit is saying you've done a great job. There's just one more action to take, right? And that's to just turn around and let it go. Don't hold on to the past fears, fears that perhaps they could be seen as father wounds in some way, with the feelings of inadequacy, a fear of failure, um, a constant need for validation and approval. Really kind of that confidence level took a lot of work. Took a lot of work. And I have someone here in the polar opposite of that, that are sick with grief. They're struggling financially. They're being abandoned in their eyes, left behind, closed out. But I feel like their regret is not, this is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. And I feel like they see you. They see your intuition now. It makes it worse. The grief, the loss. But as you turn away, as you take actions toward these new creative endeavors, toward this new life, toward this new goal, this fresh new chapter filled with love and romance and delightful warmth, as you take the action and the steps to move into that energy, I feel the tears getting heavier for this person here. The regret grows, the sorrow grows. And the longer they take to go inward, the more they'll lose. But watching you rise, it's like proof that they've lost it all. It's like the feeling of losing the best thing you've ever had. Well, unfortunately, they went too far. They did too much. They said too much. They planned and they plotted and they hated too much. This is closing out a cycle of trauma and pain and lack, because while their piggy bank is emptying, yours is filling up. Yours is filling up. So don't hang out any longer. Don't wait around anymore. You've been there. You felt it. You've done it. You overcame it. Let it go. Karma will be what karma will be. And believe me, when justice steps in to balance the scale, it's not fun for either party. Truly. Let's see what let's see what little messages come here. Close out. Yeah, there's celebrations here. This is friendships, relationships. This is coming into your tribe. It's coming into your tribe. It says, I am the dreamer of my dream. Energy flows where my intuition goes. Oh, where my intention goes. Ooh, that was not so random of a mess up, huh? Where your intuition goes. Where is your intuition leading you? As my capacity to tune into the energy of love gives me the words I need when I am ready to speak up, the compassion I need when it is time to forgive, and the power I need when I am lost. Trust. Trust that you have everything you need for this next chapter. Everything. You have overcome someone here who is, they may have come off charming and charismatic and enthusiastic and creative. They could have been in leadership. It could have been a father, an older male. Doesn't have to be a male. Could have just been someone in their masculine energy, acting on their passion and desire. But obviously, it was a low vibrational passion and desire. It was one that was filled with manipulation, all for self gain and greed. They could have come off, it may have been, you know, how when you get to know someone and you see the inside, right? And you realize that their charm is really an arrogance. This feels like a very shallow person. They may have looked great and shiny on the outside, but the inside is hollow. And without your light, they're really feeling, oh crap, I'm hollow. I'm emptying out over here. And the only reason that they're even crying is because they're left empty, but they've filled themselves with nothing, nothingness, nothingness, all for the sake of saying, I have what no one else has. Well, they don't have that anymore because you've turned around and walked away. Maybe you were given a glimpse, maybe more than a glimpse. Maybe, like me, you were allowed to feel some of this ick again, as though it were fresh, as though it were new. But looking at this reading, it's not worth another day, another minute, another second, because some very dark energies come up behind this person that I really rather not get into. But to keep it PG over here, um, and not to yeah, I don't know. It's dark and they're worried sick. And if you're moving into a place where you actually speak on this intuitionally on these types of things, they're worried sick that something is going to slip out. But I mean, even that is silly because this is all coming out. It is absolutely coming out. Maybe you've been waiting for proof so that you could show everybody this is what was done. I don't know, but this is going to come out. I just have a feeling that it's time to get in the flow of the actual abundance gate because standing on that hill, trying to defend that hill, it's like you've done it. You've done it. It's already been defended. It's already been conquered. It's already been overcome. You're the only one standing on the hill. And now it's time to seriously put it behind you and step into positivity, joy, laughter, to focus on those goals, start taking action on those inspirations that create creativity, that creative plan, because this is going to really bring success and it's going to close out this chapter. It's like going to become like a never more, never again. Like it is dead done. It is over behind you. But it does take that action and it does um, require following that intuition and trusting that intuition until it arrives, which may be in a way that you are not expecting it to arrive, but it can come quickly. It's almost like a quick arrival. There's nothing here that tells me this is going to be slow. It just takes moving your attention, moving your focus, moving your actions over into this new state of being, loving on you like you've never loved on yourself before, right? And allowing that self-love to pour forth into your life, into your thoughts, your words, right? Into your actions. Yeah, it's closing out this cycle. And we have the Four of Wands. Enjoy your solid groundwork. Enjoy your solid groundwork and reliable support network. So this is bringing in reliable supports, people who you can trust, people who perhaps, I mean, none of us are the same, but we have similarities, right? That draw us together. People who have had to also take the action and the steps of overcoming this fear of not being good enough, of not having enough, this lack of confidence, this worry about money and success. And, there may have been a hole in your wallet at one time because of this greedy person back here. But that hole has been sealed up because abundance is flowing. It most certainly is. Yeah. Spiritually rooting, weigh your emotions carefully and find equilibrium within. Yeah, it may be difficult to let go, but again, we have the world here, and I have my little spiritual kitty. This is a spiritual journey. This is divine intervention coming in a sort of a way, right? So it's not like there is a danger and the divine is stepping in to protect you and get you out of the way of a moving car, right? Or oncoming traffic, but it is almost like intervention of the divine coming in and saying, hey, you did it. If you need validation, we're here to say you did it, you overcame, you are 100% protected, your dreams are protected, your home, your heart, your life, your property, your transportation, your finances, your children, your family, you are safe, you are protected, you won. You have won, you overcame, you did it. You have leveled up. Go for it. Because you will be touching the boundless limits of the universe. Hold your frequency. Creative, positive emotions evolving internally. You have had to evolve internally, and it may have taken some time and felt like things were just not going to happen. There may have been things that you wanted to share with others, but you couldn't because it was not the right time. But there's a reason why we don't share everything with everyone, because we have crooks and thieves and dark ones that would love to be the fly on the wall in your celebration to find out where is the money purse. Only this time this joker don't get to go. Pity the fools who mock the queen's grace. Hmm. Goes along with an attack on the confidence, right? people accusing others of not being who they say they are. And oh, watch, they'll fall. They'll never get it. They'll be the laughing stock of the world. Well, what I'm looking at right now isn't even worth sticking around and laughing at. It's the worst slapstick comedy I could ever think of seeing on my table. It's the kind of movie you get up and walk out on, and some might even want their money back, but it's really not even worth the battle. Whoever this was, whatever was done to try and take you off course or knock you down, I don't know. They have no compassion, I can tell you that. They don't care, and they would do it again and again and again and again. Actually, they have, but this time they did it to the wrong person because, again, another reading where the angelic realm steps back and says, not my circus, not my monkey either. And if they're going to back off and go the other way, I mean, I would too, you know? So it's to say, congratulations. Congratulations, because you have done it. You have rooted your spiritual awakening into this earthly realm. You have laid the solid foundation. You have set the corner posts. And it was hard work, and it was lonely work at times. But boy, the world that is ahead, the opportunities, the blessings, the rewards, absolutely beautiful. It really is. And it will come at great speed. It's like I said to someone um, the other day, it wasn't until I stopped trying to prove that I was good enough and worthy enough of being loved. It wasn't until I let go of this need to prove how worthy I was, this need to receive love from the people I wanted to receive it from. It wasn't until I let go of that that I found the greatest love of all. And I feel like that's this reading. It's like finding the greatest love of all, stepping into the greatest dream of all, and having your intuition intact, your honor, your integrity. That was never expected. Some did not expect that at all. Quite opposite. They were hoping to destroy that part. So you have your wings. You have your wings. Use them. Fly. Fly into your destiny. Soar into your destiny. Hold on to that intuition. Hold on to that spiritual enlightenment, that inner knowing that you are the creator of your dream. Take that first big, bold action. Let the weeping begin, because it will. Just know it's just the beginning for them. Don't get caught. Don't get trapped in waiting and watching. you know? Says the more energy and intuition and intuition again, geez, the more energy and intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. There is going to be a day when this is so far behind you, it is like a whisper from a past life. And there may be some that just want to come back because now they're looking for answers, but all the answers that you ever had to provide for them have been provided. Like there's nothing more for you to give to this situation. Absolutely no, absolutely not, is what I'm hearing. You've been removed for a purpose. Let it go, move on. This is a happy day. And I don't know. You may or may not hear something in the news one day or through the grapevine of what has come about. Um, but at that point, I feel like, I mean, you don't need to know. Like there's no desire. I don't feel any desire. I think that this breakthrough of getting off this hill, of getting out of this space of waiting to see something happen, to see some evidence, to see some sort of karma or justice served. It's like letting go of that need to prove as what's going to bring it in. And it may be even someone coming forward to confess. There's a little bit of a confession energy in here, though I don't know. I mean, it's like an old storyline. That's what I feel. Sometimes spirit shows us, there was a time in my life where I went through some really difficult things and I would say my prayers and I would ask God when, you know, and by the time it all came out and by the time it was all said and done, and by the time the apologies had come forward, it was like, this is so yesterday. No, you're crying on the wrong doorstep, and it has nothing to do with bitterness, has nothing to do with anger or pride or ego. It's just old news, and I don't live there anymore. It's that kind of energy. It's like being called to put space between you and this it, right? Once you get that space between you, once you get out there and start connecting, right? Making those connections, seeing the people that they've been there and done that too. And they just want to say, we made it. You made it. Congratulations, right? Yeah. Yeah. A lot of success, abundance, a lot of abundance coming in. This next chapter, this next journey is going to be a prosperous one. Um, I have a feeling because crook or whoever this was, this backstabber maybe, um, or this group of backstabbers, it could have even been a group, but because they're not going to be around to uh steal energy, frequency, currency, um it'll all be done and over. So for you anyway, for them it'll just be beginning. So congratulations. Thank you all again for stopping by. I appreciate each one of you. I will let you go in peace.